So is touch and connection, an underrated thing? More specifically, touch. Is touch underrated? Meaning that, do we not, take the time to truly acknowledge the power of it in our lives? It's such a subliminal thing that we just do naturally as human beings, and we take for granted, when things may not be going right in our life, how much the idea of touch, plays a role in ensuring a certain level of happiness that we may want to be experiencing in our lives. And some need it, definitely need it more than others. Recently, I was speaking with a friend of mine, Donna, who is a well-being and confidence coach, and she sent me a video, and in that video, she's interviewing Dr. Vidal Regisford, a PhD psychotherapy and counselor, and they're talking about the importance of touch. So I watched this video and I was really inspired about it, and I'm going to attach it in the link of this message on my Facebook page. So make sure you get a chance to watch it, because that's what I was really encouraging you to do, because they go miles deep on the topic of the importance of touch. But in watching this video, it made me think about something that had laid back in my mind with experiences that I've had in the past. So I used to belong to or regularly attend a leadership men's group. And when we got together, we'd get together every couple of weeks. And during that time, you'd see these men that you develop these great relationships with. And so, of course, 2 weeks has gone by, you haven't seen each other, and all of these guys share a bond. So, of course, everybody's giving high fives and hugs and handshakes and daps and all these types of things, and all this connection is taking place. And we would do something called a check-in, where, you would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at right now in terms of your vibration or your attitude or what you're thinking and feeling. Some people might be as low as a 5 or a 4 or a 3, in which case we knew, okay, maybe there's some kind of support that's needed there. And then others would be feeling like an 8 or a 9 or a 10. And what I always found interesting was that in the 15-20 minutes where people were coming in and preparing for the meeting to start at 7 o'clock, and all this connection was taking place, there were people now that during the check-in would say, you know what, when I got here, I was like a 4, but now I'm like a 7. And then there's other people that were saying, you know what, when I came in, I was feeling like a 7, but now I'm feeling like a 9.5. And nobody would actually say why that was happening. It was sort of just taken for granted that while there was laughing, that while there was connecting, while there was talking, while there was reminiscing, and the energy was high, that it was just taken for granted that was the reason, but it was never actually discussed amongst the men. What was the value of the touch here as it related to increasing your vibration or raising you to a higher level or a better attitude or a better state. And furthermore, what I would begin to notice as I was going to the meetings, for a few years with my partner that I was with at the time, I would come home from those meetings and I would come home on like wanting to talk all night. I would come home high vibration, tuned in, intellectually turned on, and just wanting to talk all night. And if it wasn't that, then I wanted to talk on the phone. And I probably would need to get to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. But on that particular night, I would be up until 12, 1 in the morning, because I was just all stimulated and vibrating on a higher level. Some of the things taking place that involve touch and communication, and being around and close to people in a positive environment. And what I began to recognize was that that experience would actually make me a better person in my relationships, because what was happening is that this positive energy, this vibrational raising, even if I walked in at a 4, I could walk out at an 8 or a 9 and now bring something better home to my partner. I remember, actually going away for a weekend intensive where we were doing training and all kinds of in-depth learning, and it was just the men out there, and we were just, connecting on that level. That was all allowing us to have these amazing breakthroughs. And then when I came home from that weekend, I remember my partner saying to me, man, there's something different about you. There's something more authentic about you. There's something more, almost even romantic about you. Now, I don't know, it could have just been a long weekend, but the thing of it is is that there was a certain level of connection and vibration and even a level of vulnerability that had made its way into my mindset and my attitude and just where I was at that point in time, that allowed me to be more at a higher level of vibration. And it just really, now that I'm reminiscing about that and having watched this video, which I'm highly recommending you watch, about the importance of touch, about how critical it is in our lives and the value that it can actually bring to us. And that it's one thing to just sort of have it be there on a subconscious level, but sometimes you might be in that position where, whether you feel like it or not, there's that opportunity to reach out and touch somebody. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand where we are. I understand the times that we're in, and that you just can't go around touching people in the hopes that everybody's going to feel better. We're not trying to kill each other here, right? So recognizing, and barring all things, in terms of rules and safety that we have to follow, I'm talking about with those that you are close to and your family members and that sort of thing. It's just a message, if you will, to be conscious of the power of what your touch can bring to somebody, what the power of that connection can be. That the closer that you can, be in a situation, even if there's not physical touch, it's that union and those people collecting together. You might even notice, even when you go on a Zoom call, and you're with friends, and there's this connection, and it can be like an online thing, but there's a certain openness to it and a certain synergy to it that just brings more energy and a higher level of vibration. So I just thought that it was really something that I wanted to talk about today, because it can sometimes be underestimated. And so my question, I'd love to challenge you to just make a comment below. Do you think that touch and connection is underrated? And what's been your experience that might be similar to what it is that I'm talking about? Please comment below. Steve out.